GST 111 class. The title of this course is Communication in English, and my name is Dr. Olayemi. I'm glad to be with you. Today, we shall be talking about phonetics and phonology of English, and it's going to be the first part of this session. So we are going to have two sessions on phonetics and phonology of English, and we will be focusing on speech as a very important aspect of language. It's one of the important language skills. And so we are going to concentrate on the English speech sounds, the way we articulate or pronounce English speech sounds. Speech is a very important skill of language and it is basic to all other known language skills. So every language makes use of sounds as rudiments of speech. As I speak with you now, you can hear some sounds, and those sounds are combined to make meaningful expressions, meaningful words that you can relate with. So it is very important for you to focus on the way you relate with other people, to think about it and practice it and do it well. Talking about the English speech sounds. The sounds that make up the speech of any language are combined to form meaningful stretches of words, and they are employed in communication. So in this chapter, we are to introduce you to the basic elements in spoken English. English is a language which, of course, is indispensable in your educational pursuits. Everything you do here in this university is done in English. Even those who are, in other departments where we learn indigenous languages like the Yoruba language or the French language, that is foreign languages, and then maybe other kinds of languages, both local and foreign, they still have to interact at one point or another using the English language. So your mastery of the English language, especially the oral aspects of the English language, also will facilitate your competent use of English on your lips. And not only that, it's also going to help your academic pursuit. At the end of this session, we expect that you should be able to, number one, define and classify the speech organs. Number two, you should be able to describe the English consonant and vowel sounds. And then also, you should be able to list and explain the suprasegmental features of English sounds. And then identify and explain the basic cues used in realizing intonation in English. There are certain parts of the human body which are important in the process of producing sounds in any language. And that is why we are beginning with the speech organs, those aspects of your body, those areas, those parts of your body that you have to use compulsorily when you speak. As I'm talking with you, you can see that my mouth is playing a very prominent role in this communication process. But it's not only my mouth. There are other speech organs. Some are visible, some are not visible. You can't see them. They are internal, but they are also contributing, to the use, to the articulation of speech sounds. They also play prominent roles in speech production. So we are going to consider some of these speech organs in this section. Speech organs are divided into two. We have the speech organs that perform primary functions, and we have them performing also the secondary functions. What are the primary functions? Primary functions, for instance, are biological functions. The lips, the teeth all have their own functions that they perform biologically. If you look at your set of teeth, I know some of you like to eat meat very well. You know what I'm talking about. You like to eat beef. And so you use your teeth to cut, the beef or cut very hard things that you eat. So the teeth plays a prominent role in chewing, cutting or tearing at food that we eat. So they perform biological functions, and your tongue helps you to taste, to tell you whether a particular food or something that you consume is bitter or sweet or sour. You know what I mean? So these are biological functions. But above that, these speech organs also perform what we call secondary functions. And the secondary function here is the function of speech or sound production. Apart from the fact that you use your mouth to eat, you also do a lot of things with your mouth relating to speech production. Okay, so we have the lips. Now, talking about the speech organs, we have the lips, the teeth, the alveolar ridge, the hard palate. When I say the lips. You may be able to relate with that. You have two lips, the lower lip and the upper lip. Then you have the set of teeth. You have the lower teeth and the upper set of teeth. Then we have the alveolar ridge. The alveolar ridge is at the roof of the mouth, where behind the upper set of teeth. When your mouth is in a dormant position, like mine, look at it, dormant. I'm not talking about it, I'm not doing anything. Dormant. The tip of my tongue is directly opposite my alveolar. So you practice it. You'll be able to note that hard surface area that is very close to the teeth. And with it, you can produce certain sounds, which I'll let you know later. Then immediately after the alveolar ridge, which is also called the teeth ridge, don't forget that. The alveolar ridge is also called the teeth ridge because it's like a ridge for the teeth. Okay, then we have the immediately after the alveolar ridge, we have the hard palate. Okay, it's like that hard part of the roof of the mouth. Okay, the hard part of the roof of the mouth. That's the alveolar ridge. When your mouth is in a dormant position, the center of the tongue is directly opposite the alveolar. Sorry, is when your mouth is in a dormant position, the center of the tongue is directly opposite the hard palate. So the hard palate is that portion at the roof of the mouth, very hard. It's like a hollow, like a well turned upside down. Like that, you can feel it. Okay, at the roof of your mouth. Then after the hard palate, we have the soft part. The soft part. That soft palate is also called the velum. Velum. Then we have the uvula. It's like a that suspended flesh at the roof of the mouth. If you open your mouth and you check through the mirror, you can see the suspended flesh, like a pendulum, okay, hanging low there. That flesh hanging low is called the uvula. Then we have the pharynx that's going now down to the neck area. The pharynx, we have the larynx, and inside the larynx we have the vocal cords. The vocal cords are two elastic. There are two elastic organs inside the larynx. So the larynx is like a house for the vocal cords in the neck area. And you can see that some men, most men have that vocal cords. Let me take that again. You can see that most men have their vocal cords there, and so they can uh, talk deeply or sing deeply. Da, da, re, and they can do that. And then we have the glottis. The glottis is the space between the vocal cords. The space between the vocal cords is called the glottis. And it also plays a very important role in speech production. Then going deep down, we have the windpipe, and then we have the lungs in the chest area. You can see me coming low, low, low. So we have the lungs too. There are two lungs. Every human being has two lungs. Okay, and the lungs plays a very important role. It is a powerhouse of speech. What I mean is that the air that is used in speech production is stored in the lungs, and with that air, you can talk, you can speak. And so when you talk, even if you place your hand this way, look at me, you try to say something, or you say this after me. My name is, okay. I love football. I love football. You can see the air, puff of air, beating against the back of your hand there. So it means that when we talk, we make use of the hair, and that hair is called the pulmonic hair stream. The pulmonic hair stream. Now, having talked about, there are other speech organs. We have the diaphragm, the bronchial tubes, and all of that. They play prominent roles in speech production. Then let's talk about the English speech sounds. Okay, the English speech sounds. Before I talk about the sounds, I need to let you know something. A lot of students confuse sounds with letters. They are not the same. A letter is different from a sound. You need to know that. And don't ever forget it. So you talk about uh, sounds, and then what's the difference between a sound and a letter? Now, sounds are enclosed in bracket, in slanting brackets. That's sounds, but letters are not. That's one issue. Then sounds are also uh, Sounds also do not appear in capital letter forms. You can't say you have a sound and then you put the sound in the slanted bracket and that sound is written in a capital letter form or in an uppercase form. No. But letters have uppercase, what you know as capital letters, and lowercase forms, what you know as small letters. Now let's talk about the English. Now let's talk about the English speech sounds. There are two major discrete units of sounds in English. They are the consonant sounds and the vowel sounds. Those are the two sounds we have. Every time you open your mouth to speak in a language, you produce these sounds. The sounds are either consonants or vowels. So let's come back to English language. There are 24 consonant sounds of English, and there are 20 vowel sounds of English. And so altogether we have how many? 20, 24. 24 vowel, sorry, 24 consonant sounds and 20 vowel sounds in English. So how many sounds do we have altogether? We have 44 sounds. Now I want you to note something, that sounds are also called phonemes. Sounds are also called what? Phonemes. Please take note of that. Now let's talk about these sounds. In describing, let's talk about the consonant sounds first. The consonant sounds of English. In describing consonant sounds, there are certain criteria to be considered in describing consonant sounds. Number one, we must consider the place of articulation. The place of articulation has to do with where that sound is produced. And then we consider also, number two, the manner of articulation. That is, how is the sound produced? Where the sound is produced. That's number one. Number two, how the sound is produced. Then number three, we have the state of the glottis. The state of the glottis. Now, talking about the state of the glottis, I mean, what is the state of the glottis? I told you earlier on that the glottis is the space between the vocal cords. So what that means is that we need to also consider whether the glottis is wide or narrow, so that whatever is the state of the glottis, that will also determine the type of sound that is produced. Okay. Now, talking about the glottis, the criteria, sorry, talking about the criteria for description of consonant sounds, we need to look at number one, the place of articulation. The place of articulation has to do with the points, the various points in the mouth where certain sounds are produced. The points in the mouth where certain sounds are produced. Okay. Now, don't forget that we are talking about English speech sounds. There are different types of sounds. Sometimes you cough, that's a sound when you cough. Sometimes you yawn and then you say, "Ah," that's a sound. Okay. And sometimes too, this will shock you, this will make you laugh. You produce certain sounds from your anus, and then you hear "Pra-pa-pa." That's also a sound. Okay. For some people, it's very sporadic. They produce pop, 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 especially when they get to the toilet. That's another sound. But we are not talking about those kind of sounds. Remember, we are talking about speech sounds. And what kind of speech sounds? English speech sounds. So the first thing to consider is the consonant sounds. And we look at the consonant sounds, we look at the place of articulation where the consonant sounds are produced. Now, have you ever heard such word as biannual, bimonthly, bifocal? Bi means two. Okay, so the production of bilabial sounds involves how many? Two things, and those two things are your lips, your lower lip and your upper lip. Bi means two, and labial means lips. So your lower lip combines with your upper lip to produce bilabial sounds. You can just tell me what those bilabial sounds are. So let's put just make sure your lips are together. What are certain sounds of the English that are consonants that you can produce when your lips are like this? Of course, there will be a separation of the lips when you produce the sound. So let's look at the first one. The paper. Okay. And and you see, they are bilabial sounds. There's no way you pronounce them without your two lips coming together. B, isn't it? In paper, b, in baby, and in man. So are your two lips involved? Yes, they are. So it means you have produced the sounds correctly if your two leaves are involved. The second type of sounds we have are the labiodental sounds. The second type of sounds we have are the labiodental sounds. Look at the word labio and look at the word dental. What does that suggest to you? Labio has to do with the leaves and dental has to do with the teeth. So it means that your lip combines with your teeth to produce that sound. So the lower lip combines with the upper set of teeth to produce that sound. So now let's be together. Here is my lower lip. Where is yours? Okay. Now let it touch your upper set of teeth. You can see that certain sounds are coming already. The sound in favor and the sound in van are coming from that respectively. Okay, fan. My father bought a van that has no fan. My father bought a van that has no fan. There is a fan in my father's van. Can you see? So you should be able to separate the two. Some of you can't do that. You say, I love you very much. When you say very, you are pronouncing another word, Ferry. Ferry. And that means something relating to the sea. You know what I'm talking about? So you have to be very careful when you use these sounds. Some of you can't pronounce the sound. Somebody like me, I had a lot of difficulty pronouncing that sound because there's a space between my upper set of teeth here, you can see. So I had to practice over and over to be able to produce a sound V. And today I'm doing it well. So you can do it too. So the next type of sounds we have, talking about the place of articulation, are the interdental sounds. The interdental sounds are produced. You can see interdental. There's a word there that is now familiar to you, and that word is dental. The teeth again are involved. Okay, so in this case, it is the tip of the tongue because you cannot produce any sound with the teeth alone, except when you are gnashing your teeth. And I don't pray you do that. You are gnashing your teeth. Okay, that's when you can produce sounds with your what is it called? Your teeth alone. But I say to you that that kind of sound is not going to be a speech sound. Remember earlier I told you we have different kinds of sounds. We have those sounds that come from your anus. That's not the sound we are considering here. We have those sounds that come from when you try to clear your nose. Okay, that's not the kind of sound we're talking about. So we're talking about English speech sounds. And so when you hear the word interdental, something is happening between the two teeth. And so the tongue is also involved. The tip of the tongue is lifted in such a way that it is between the upper and the lower teeth. That's why it's interdental. Some people call them dental sounds. In most textbooks, they refer to them as interdental sounds, but I prefer that you use the word interdental. So, what are interdental sounds? We see that when you try to do this, you try to lift the tip of your tongue to touch your upper set of teeth. You will see that you are producing the sound at the beginning of words like thank or thanks. Thanks. Can you see? Please take a look at my tongue. Thanks. And then you're also producing that sound at the beginning of the word then. Can you say them after me? Thanks. And if you're doing that, now produce this other word. Then. Thanks. Then. I want you to thank them. Thank them. Not I want you to thank them. You see, these two sounds are they pose a lot of challenge to let me take that again, please. These two sounds pose a great challenge to second language learners. Most of our students, most second language learners cannot differentiate between the sound. You can see it, that's the one that is like the theta, and the sound. Okay. The one you have in thanks is a soft one. It is called the weak dental sound. Please take note of that. And that's the one that is like a circle and then a slash at the middle, like the theta symbol. And then we have the other one that is like figure six turned. You know, this is figure six. Now, when you turn figure six the other way around, this way, okay, and then you put a slash, a stroke across the flag. Then you have that sound. You can see it. You can see it. Showing it to you. You can see it here. Okay. So we have the two interdental sounds. One is the weak sound, and the other one is the strong sound. The one that is the weak dental sound is the one you have in words like thin, 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 thank. Okay. It's also what you have in words like through. I'm through with it. I'm through with it. Can you say that? Well, a lot of people will say, I'm true with it. And so you're pronouncing another word, which is TRUE. If you are true with it, then you may be false with it. You see that you are creating another meaning. So you have to master all of these. They are very important if you must speak good English. Now we also have number four, the alveolar sounds. The alveolar sounds. In the production of the alveolar sounds, the tip of your tongue or the front portion of the tongue is lifted to make a contact with the alveolar ridge. Remember the alveolar ridge? I told you that the alveolar ridge is that curve, that very hard surface, curve, immediately after the upper set of teeth, after the gum, at the upper part of the roof of the mouth. And another name for the alveolar ridge is the teeth ridge. So remember that I said when your mouth is in a dormant position, the tip of your tongue is already opposite the alveolar ridge. So you see that the tip of the tongue now touches, relates with the alveolar ridge to produce sounds like t in table, d in dog, in rabbit, in lazy, s in sister, and z in zoo. Also the sound you can see in zoo. Okay, that sound you see, it's also produced at that point. So at the end of the day, you will see that we have seven sounds, consonant sounds produced in that one place, the tip of the tongue and the alveolar ridge. So these are the alveolar sounds of English. You can see them on the screen. The next kind of sounds we need to talk about are the palato-alveolar sounds. Palato-alveolar sounds, look at it, there are two things involved. Palate, the hard palate, we have the soft palate. But in this case, we are talking about the hard palate and the alveolar. So the two speech organs that are involved are the hard palate and the uh, alveolar ridge. That's why we have palato-alveolar sounds. The production of these sounds takes place at two different points that I told you in the mouth, and that happens simultaneously, not one after the other, but together at the same time. So while the tip of the tongue presses against the alveolar ridge, the center of the tongue also presses against the hard palate at the same time simultaneously. So this action results in the production of sounds like sh in shoe, sh in shoe, ch in church. Okay? No, let me take that a bit. Ch in church. Okay? You don't say I go to church. I was in the church. If you say church, apart from the fact that there's a problem with the vowel sounds, I'll tell you that in the next class. In the middle of the word church, when you say I go to church, there is also a problem with the consonant ch. The ch is realized as ch, both at the beginning and at the end. Church. I like to use that example because the ch is at the beginning, the ch is also at the end of that word. And you must realize the sounds as ch, church. Say that after me. Church. Okay. So we have the other one is mild. Shh. The first one I pronounce. Shh. You have it in shirt. My brother is putting on a clean shirt. Okay. SHIRT. And then you have the other one. Ch. It's stronger, harder than the first one. In church. Can you think of other words? Chop, to chop carrots. When you want to prepare your fried rice, chop carrots. You don't say I chop. If you chop, that's SHOP. If you chop, 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 chop. I'm not pronouncing the same thing. Can you see that? Okay, one is mild, the other one is stronger. And so the third sound is j. You have it in words like j, j. You have it in words like measure, treasure. Some of you call it mayor. Want to mayor? That is my player to mayor your treasure. Let's say part of the business. You can see. So why are you working leisurely? There's nothing like leisurely. It's a leisurely. Okay, why are you working leisurely? Okay, not why are you working leisurely. Eh? Or you say, I love it. That's a great trail. It's a trail. It's my player. The sound je is there for you to use and you have to articulate it appropriately. Then the other sound, which is the fourth sound, is je. That's the one you have in age. That's the one you have in edge. That's the one you have in John. What's your name? My name is John. Not my name is John. My name is John. For those of you who are Christians, you go to church and you say, I pray in the name of Jesus. You have not pronounced that sound that word very well. Jesus. That's it. Jesus. Jesus. Okay. So the sound can be realized by the letter J, by the letter G, and by the letter D and G in hedge. I told her to sit at the hedge, not at the center. I told her to sit at the hedge. Edge, EDGE. Please take note. You can compile very many examples of these words. Okay. Now let's move on to other types of consonant sounds. We also have the palatal sounds. That's number six. Palatal sounds. Now you're familiar with the word palate. Remember at the beginning when I was talking about the speech organs, I talked about this the hard palate and the soft palate. So number six, the palatal sound. The body or center of the tongue is pressed against the hard palate. Remember I told you that the hard palate is that upper part of the roof of the mouth that is, at the center, very hard area of the mouth. Okay, so the center of the tongue presses against, just rubs against, not too hard, rubs against the hard palate to pronounce the only one palatal sound we have in English, and that's the sound ye, ye, ye. That's what the sound you have in you. I love all my students. You are one of them, so I love you. You. Okay, then we have the other examples like year. You can see Happy New. Very soon, by the grace of God, we'll be greeting one another. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. You can see ye, ye. Say that after me. Ye, ye. Now, you need to be careful. The symbol for the sound ye is coincidentally like your letter J. But the difference is that this letter J is enclosed in slashes, slanting brackets, because it is a sound. But it has no relationship. It has nothing to do with the letter J, even in the production of it. It's just coincidence. It's a matter of, let me take it again. It is just a matter of coincidence. Okay? So there is no relationship between the letter of the alphabet, that is letter J, and the sound he that looks like that letter. And that's why over time, even up till now, I've been correcting my students when they come to class and I say, Jesma. Because in the dictionary, when you look at the transcription of the word YES, you see that sound ye in the slanting bracket, and so they take it for the letter J. And so they say Jess. Some school teachers, secondary school teachers, have also taken me up on that. And I told them, thank God they listened to me and they found out I was telling the truth. So don't say Jess. And a lot of you have told, a lot of your colleagues, people at your level, have told me that at secondary school, their teachers told them that that word is Jess. Now you are in the university and you should know better than when you were in the secondary school. So don't ever say Jess, ma. What do you say? Yes. Yes. Okay. So we have a lot of examples like that. Yam, yam, hmm, and so on. Note that this sound, I've said it again, has nothing to do with the letter J, which is one of the letters of the alphabet. Now we move to the next one, number seven. We talk about the velar sounds. You will realize that these sounds are named after the speech organs that are involved in their production. So when you hear bilabial sounds, what comes to your mind? The lips are involved and the two lips. When you hear labiodental, you know that the sounds are produced with the lower lip and the upper teeth. Labiodental. When you hear alveolar sounds, you know that the alveolar ridge or the teeth ridge is involved, and the tip of your tongue is also involved. So the soft palate now, when you talk about velar sounds, don't forget that the soft palate is also known as the velum, VELUM. So we have derived that word from velum, the other name for the soft palate. No, now the soft palate is that upper part of the roof of your mouth. I told you before. Don't do it, but if you stick your finger into your mouth and you try to touch the upper part of the roof of your mouth, that place is very soft. It will appear as if you want to vomit. I don't like that. Go stick your hand into your mouth. But I'm just using that as an example. It will appear as if you want to vomit. That soft area at the roof of the mouth is what we call the soft palate, which is also known as the what? The velum. So when you talk about velar sounds, what comes to your mind? The soft palate or the velum plays a major role in the production of the what? The Rockefeller sounds. So what happens is that the back of the tongue, if your tongue is in the dormant position, again, do it again. You realize that the back of your tongue is directly opposite the soft palate at the top. And so when the back of the tongue is raised towards the below or the soft palate, we produce three major sounds of English. They are the sounds you can see on the screen: in kettle, g, in girl, and in sing, sing. I sing a song. It's also in the word song. You see that you can't hear the last sound, the g sound. You don't say I sing a song. You don't say that. You say I sing. That sound, I know you are familiar with the first sound in kettle, in cake, in cook. My mother is a good cook, and I am a good cook myself. Cook. Everybody say that. Cook. Okay, so cook. You have it as the letter C at the beginning, and it's also the letter K at the end of that word. Cook. Then you have the sound G in girl or gaggle. Okay, G in girl. And you have the third one. You can see the way it is. It's as if it is letter N, but that the other part of the N is longer and they're made to be to curve. It's made to curve at the end of it. So that sound is called it's pronounced as You have it in the word finger. These are my fingers. Fingers. Okay, I sing. I sing. Your phone is ringing. Ringing. That's the way the sound is. You may be laughing, but you just have to learn this sound. And that sound is different from the sound in nose or navel or novel. This one is Okay, I sing a song. I sing a song. My phone is ringing, ringing, ringing. These are my fingers, fingers, fingers. You can hear that. Okay. So I just hope you understand what I'm saying. Then we have the eighth type of sounds. We need to talk about the glottal sound. The glottal sound. From the word glottal, we realize that this is connected to the word glottis. The glottis has a role to play in the production of the glottal sound. So now remember I told you that the air that we use in speech production comes from the lungs. And so when that air takes off from the lungs, and that's why the lungs are called the powerhouse of speech. When the air takes off from the lungs, what happens? It gets to the neck region, and in the neck region, remember I told you we have the vocal cords, two of them that are elastic, fleshy and elastic organs, and that they have the ability to expand and contract. They can expand, they can contract. Okay. So the sound, the sound of the glottal sound is produced in the glottis, in that space between the vocal cords. And there is only one sound like that in English, and that is the sound. You see, it's as if I'm trying to, it has a semblance with the state of hiccup. You see? In house. The first letter is H in house, and you have to pronounce it. House, house, pop, 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 pop. It should be help. I need help. Say after me, help. But I realize that sometimes some of you don't even mind whether that sound is pronounced or not. We also have it in hospital, 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 not not hospital. You don't seal off the hair. The puff of hair must have come because of the letter H. But you have to know that there are certain words in which that sound is not pronounced. Although you have the letter H there. An example of that word is the word power. Power. Don't say, what do you say? Hour. You still love the hair because the sound is not articulated, it's not pronounced in that word. There are a few words like that. The same word, this is the same thing you have in the word honor. It's my honor to be here. Don't say it's my honor. The H letter, the letter H that represents the sound, is not sounded in honor, but it is sounded in help. 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 Can you see? Hall. All of us are in the hall. All of us are in the hall. We have ALN, hall. And then we have HALN, hall. All of us are in the hall. You can practice this by lighting up a candle and placing the candle right before you, and you try to pronounce the word Hall, Hall. If the light flickers out, then it means you have pronounced the right thing. Hall. But if that's okay, let me call it the fire. If it remains unmoved, that means you are pronouncing hall, hall, because you're not bringing out air when you pronounce it. But when you pronounce Hall, hall, something must happen. That fire must react because you have the light. I mean, sorry, you have the air because you have the air puffed out of your mouth. Okay. Now, let's quickly talk about the manner of articulation of the English sounds. We have manner of articulation. This has to do with what happens when the speech organs that produce the sounds are brought together. The organs of speech are brought together. They have contacts at one point or another. When we pronounce consonant sounds, the organs involved have some contacts at one point or another. Okay, and that's why the consonant sounds are different from the vowel sounds. I will tell you that in the next class. But now, let's quickly look at the manner of articulation, that is, the kind of modification that is done to the air stream as a result of the contact between the speech organs involved in the production of a particular sound. For instance, if I produce a sound, B, my two lips come together at first, B, but something happens later, okay, and then there's a separation of the two lips, and then you can hear the sound. So we have number one, total obstruction. The organs of speech are brought together completely close. They are completely close, such that air is totally obstructed. Okay, when we talk about total obstruction. But under the total obstruction, we have different kinds. We have number one, the plosive sounds. What do I mean by plosive sounds? They are sounds that are produced when there is a complete closure in the vocal tract in such a way that the contracted air behind, when you put your lips together like this, what happens? It means that you have sealed off the air. That is air build up. The air builds up behind the two lips. Okay, and then for you to realize that sound or produce that sound, the lips will separate, and when they separate, what happens? The hair rushes out. The hair is suddenly released with a kind of explosion. So try to pronounce the following sounds and let's see. B. Say them after me. B. First one I pronounced is B in paper, B in baby, T in table, D in dog, K in kettle, G in girl. All of these sounds are pronounced in such a way that air is built up. All of these sounds are pronounced in such a way that air is built up, when the speech organs come together. The air is sealed off and then is built behind the speech organs. And suddenly, when there is a separation, the hair rushes out. That explosion of the hair gives us the word plosive sound. I want to believe that you understand what I'm trying to say there. Then we have the second type of sounds. We talked about the plosive sounds. We have the second type of sounds under the total obstruction. Okay, cases of total obstruction, we have affricates. In this case, the total closure caused by the contact between the speech organs involved in the production of the sound is followed by a gradual release of air. Yes, this time there is complete closure and then there is a gradual release as the speech organs separate. There's a gradual release of the air as the sound is being pronounced. In the case of plosives, you have complete closure at first and then a sudden release of air as the sound is pronounced. But in the case of affricates, you have what? Complete closure, again, just like the plosives. But this time around, as the speech organs separate, the air comes out gradually. The hair is released gradually. So this is what you will experience when you pronounce the sound ch, ch, and j. And that's why it is possible for us to say j. Can you see? Ch. But you cannot say, look at the sound of the sound b. You cannot say b, 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 b. You can't say that. There's a sudden release of the speech organs and a sudden separation of the speech organs and the sudden release of air. Then we have number three, the nasal sounds. It's still under what? We're still talking about total obstruction, total obstruction. So we also have the nasals or the nasal sounds. In the production of these sounds, the total closure caused by the position of the soft palate will compel the air to escape through the nose. When we talked about the plosives, we said the air is suddenly released. Affricates, we said the air is gradually released. Now we're talking about the nasals. The nose is involved. So in the production of nasal sounds, what happens is that the soft palate, okay, is raised to cover the nasal cavity, the nose area, so that when we talk about the nasal sounds, it means that the soft palate is lowered to cover your mouth area so that air escapes through your nose. So when air escapes through your nose, you are producing what? Nasal sound. At this point, I would want you to refer to your lecture notes for other types of sounds that we have when we talk about the manner of articulation. Uh, I need to talk about, I need to quickly talk about the state of the glottis. The state of the glottis. You remember I told you that the glottis is also a speech organ and it has to do with the space between the vocal cords. So when we talk about the glottis is a speech organ too, and it plays a major role in sound production. English speech sounds could be voiced or voiceless. Okay? Remember that we have 24 consonant sounds. 24 consonant sounds. And of all these 24 consonant sounds, only 9 consonant sounds are voiceless, while the other, know the number, the other consonant sounds, and you should fill the gap. The other consonant sounds are voiced. So we have only 9 consonant sounds. Okay, so the glottis now, how do we arrive at consonant sounds? The space between the vocal cords, known as the glottis, gets when the glottis expand. Okay, the space between the vocal cords will be very narrow because the vocal cords have expanded. When the vocal cords expand, okay, the space between the vocal cords is the glottis. That space becomes very narrow because the vocal cords have expanded. And so what happens? The space between the vocal cords is very narrow. What happens is that the air coming from the lungs gets through to the glottis in the neck region, which is a space between the vocal cords. And that air has to force its way through the vocal cords. That will make the vocal cord on the right and the vocal cord on the left to vibrate. And when they vibrate, the sounds that are produced will be called voiced sounds. The sounds that are produced with the vibration of the vocal cords are called voiced sounds. And so we have a lot of them. Look at the sound. It's zoo. If you place your hand here in your neck area, I mean in your neck region, like I'm doing, if you place your hand here and you pronounce the sound zzz, you feel that vibration. Zzz. Pronounce the sound. Can you feel it? Now pronounce the other sound of which is in fan. Can you feel anything here? No. If you are feeling anything there, then you're not doing it right. Now pronounce V. You can feel the vibration. So the sounds that are produced with the vibration of the vocal cords are called voiced sounds. While those that are produced without the vibration of the vocal cords are called voiceless sounds. And in voiceless sounds, what happens? The vocal cords contract, they shrink. So when they contract, the space between them is very wide. And so the air coming from the lungs just passes freely. Unlike in the other one, when the vocal cords expand, they expand, and so the space between them is very narrow. It's like a fat person trying to pass through a very narrow door, hitting the vocal cord on the right and the vocal cord on the left. But in the case of voiceless sounds, the vocal cords contract, and when they contract, that is, they shrink. The space between them is very wide. The air coming from the lungs can pass freely, and the sounds that are produced without any vibration of the vocal cords. Okay. Again, I say you should refer to your GST 111 course material for further details. It is very important for us to quickly run through all these consonant sounds that I've talked about, you can see that they are arranged the way I talked about them. Now let's look at the first one. You can see there the sound B. That sound B is B in paper, in pepper, in which other one? You give me two more examples at your end there. Okay, okay, thank you. Then we now you have to take note of this. The sound P is silent in psychology and raspberry. Raspberry. Can you see that? You can't say psychology. Psychology. What do you say? You say psychology. We have other words like pneumonia. The first letter in pneumonia is letter P, but the first sound is a sound Can you see that? That's why I said there's a difference at the beginning of this session. I told you that there's a difference between sounds and letters. Okay. Now you can see that these sounds are all in slashes. Can you see what I call slanting brackets too? Can you see them slashes because they are sounds? Okay. So we have the other sound, the next one, which is the sound B in baby, in battle. But then note that it is silent in death. I owe you a lot of debt. Debt, not death. Death. No, death. That's death. But debt. You can't say debt. 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 Oh, that takes me back to the first one, the sound. Many of you say that where's your school receipt? Receipt. You pronounce the P in receipt. No, you don't. You say receipt. The P is silent. It's not articulated. So the second letter, sorry. So the second sound is B in baby, in battle, but it's silent in death or tomb or bomb or comb. Have you combed your hair? Not have you combed? Or give me a comb. You don't say that. Give me a comb. You say bomb, B-O-M-B, bomb. And then you say plumber, not plumber. Okay, the plumber is coming in to fix the taps, not plumber. Take note of all of this. You will realize that at the end of the day, you'll be able to speak better. You will realize that at the end of the day, you'll be able to you will realize that at the end of the day, you will be able to speak very good English if you do all of this. Now, look at the other sound in mate, mammal, man, moral, or museum. You can see that. Okay, it's also in the word member. Okay, we have the other one. That's the one that has W in the slashes. We have it in war. We have it in what? Why silent in right? W-R-I-G-H-T, right. We have playwright too. Playwright. Okay. We also have it silent in the word who. You don't say who. Who came here? Who? No. Who? Narrow, not narrow. All right. So you have to also master all of those. We have the other sound in favor. The first sound favor. It's also represented as PH in phone. Can I have? It's also represented as GH in tough. He is very tough. Okay. What you have said is enough. 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 Okay, you can see at the end of the sound is the sound. Okay, we have the other sound vessel, vase. Can I have the flower vase? Can you say that separately? Flower vase. So we have the then we have remember I told you about the interdental sound and the strong one and the weak one. This is the weak one you can see here. A thanks, thanks, thin, health. We also have it in healthy. You know, it's not healthy. The baby is healthy. No, the baby is healthy. Healthy. I remember in those days we used to hear on television, Ribena children are healthy children. I don't know whether they still advertise that way today, but that was where I got the first contact with the word healthy. Healthy, not healthy. Take note of that. My father is wealthy, wealthy. Take note of that. Okay, you can use your dictionary, it will guide you. So this is the soft, the interdental sound. Then we have the strong. Can you see the strong? The other one is the weak interdental sound. This is the strong interdental sound. We have it in words like that, those, not those. If you say those, that is DOSE. Have you taken the right dose of your medicine? Dose. Okay. But I saw those boys taking the dose. Can you see? Those boys took the right dose. Can you say that after me? Those boys took the right dose. That's not right. Those boys took the right dose. That's correct. But when you say those boys took the right dose, you have said the wrong thing. But now look at my mouth. Those boys took the right dose. So you also have that word in you have also have that word in them. Them. I want you to go and thank them. Thank them. I thank all of you. I thank them all. I thank them. Can you say thank them? Thank them. The first one, thank, is the what? It's the weak interdental. Them. That's the strong interdental sound. So can you place the two side by side in the words thank and them? Thank them. Thank them. Thank them. Most of the time, you pronounce the one that is the weak dental as the sound t. So you say thank, and then you pronounce the word, the strong one, as the sound d. So you say them, thank them. Are you going to put them in a tank? When you say I thank all of you, are you putting them in, like you say bottled water? Can we say tanked water? So when you say I thank all of you, maybe you're putting everybody in a tank and covering them all. I thank you all. No, I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So you must learn to pronounce these words appropriately. They will help you in your spoken English. Now we have the sound t. You can see the sound t in tattoo, in tortoise, it's also in the word silent at the end of that word. But it's silent in the word whistle. Whistle, not whistle. Whistle, castle. My father bought a castle and kept his whistle there. Can you see? Castle, whistle. Okay, my father bought a castle. Now look at the other one. That's a sound in double, in adage, in dog. Then we have the other one. That sound. I love that sound. Okay, that's what you have in the word nose. Nose. Nonsense. Nonsense. Don't do anything that is nonsensical now that you are on campus. Okay, and then at the same time, I can tell you be a no nonsense person. Don't take just anything that comes your way. A no nonsense person. Can you see? No nonsense person. Then we have words in which that sound is silent. Look at SOLEMN. Solemn. It was a solemn assembly. Don't say solemnly because there is a there. You don't sound it. It's not sounded. Don't say solemnly. It's solemn. Except you elongate that word to become solemnized. That's when you can have the sound being realized. So it's also silent in autumn, but it's present in autumnal. Can you see? Okay. Columnist is there in columnist, but it's not in column. Take note of all of these. Then we have the sound in sister. This is my sister. This is my sister. So that sound is there. It could be represented as C in ace, space, but silent in the word call. Some of you refer to these people, when they graduate, when students graduate, they go to serve the nation. In Nigeria, here we say they are serving the nation and under the National Youth Service Corps. That word corps is CORPS. The S is not pronounced. National Youth Service Corps. Unfortunately, many people call these people copper. There's nothing like copper. I'm not a copper. He is not a copper. That one who has just graduated and is serving the nation. He's not a copper. Yes. Does that shock you? He's not a copper, but he's a core member or a member of the National Youth Service Corps. It's a core member. And that word core member is not CORE. It is CORPS. Both the P and the S are unsounded. It's a core member. Can you see? So please take note of all these areas. They will help your spoken English. We also have the sound Z in zoo, zebra, and it will shock you that that sound is also realized in xylophone. But the letter is XYLOPHONE, X. That X is represented, is realized as xylophone, not xylophone. We also have that sound represented as S in the word busy. I've been busy all day, not I've been busy. I've been busy. It's also in the word boys. It's in the word bags. It's in the word practice. when you're talking about the verb form, the one that has SE in British English. Please check your dictionary for all of these. And it could also be represented as a letter SS in carcass. Okay, carcass. But it is absent in seizure. Please. Seizure. No, not seizure. Seizure. You have to be careful. Then we have the sound L in level, in love, lamb, but it's silent in balm. The sound L is silent in palm. Show me your palm. It's also silent in psalm. I like to read from the book of Psalms. Okay. We have the sound in river, but and then in which other one? Arthritis, arthritis, okay, arthritis, river, okay, but we don't have it in part. We don't say part. I've played my part. No, we say R. When we get to the vowel sounds in the next class, I will let you know that that sound is R. Okay, we'll talk about that. Then we have the sound ch. I told you about that one. I told you about that one at the beginning. I said it's what you have in church, what you have in chart, in child. I was a child when she was made the president. I was a child when she became the president of Nigeria. Okay, so child, not child. Give me my child. No, child. It's not like that. It's not like that. Okay, so you can bring up more examples using your dictionary. Then we have the sound injustice, jug, age, gauge, gymnastic, okay, edge. And let me tell you something. When a woman wraps something around her head, you say she's putting on head what? Headgear or headgear. That word is not gear, it's gear. Even in the car too, we have what we call the gear that controls the movement of the car and all of that. So take note. Make sure you correct all of these expressions that you are pronouncing wrongly. Make sure you correct the wrong pronunciation so that you can speak better English. Remember that now you are in the university and you're expected to do what is right. We also have the sound sh. As we come gradually to the end of this session, look at that sound sh. That's the sound in the word shop, shirt. It's also CH. That sound is also CH in machine, not machine. Machine. CH. It's also in tendentious as letter T. Ratio is there. Okay, other examples are there. You can consult them. Then we have the sound k. K. Okay, in schedule, that word schedule is pronounced that way in American English, but in British English, it's pronounced as schedule. Schedule. And then we have, please take note, don't say schedule if you are speaking British, the British version of English. And of course, in our Nigerian classrooms, we use the British English, not the American English. So be careful. But I've put it here for you to know that in the American version, we have schedule. Okay, we also have kettle. There are other examples which I've given you earlier on. So, but in British English, you say schedule. What is your schedule for today? Not what is your schedule for today. Then we have in treasure, in pleasure, and so on. We have ye, talked about that, in yam, and in yes. Don't you ever say Jess. Don't ever say Jess. We have it in yam and in yes. Okay, so we have, I remember talking about the sound. Okay, okay. I was talking about the sound E. Now let me talk about the sound K. In kite, in kettle. Okay, it's scepter. You can see as letter C, it's scepter. Then we have the sound K. In Google. Ago. I saw you a few minutes ago. Okay, you have it there. But it's not in age. That's the letter G in age is not G. Okay. Then we have this sound, which I already explained. Remember, I told you it's one of the three nasal sounds. Remember the three nasal sounds? And That's the sound. You have it sing, sing. Okay. You also have it in uh, English. It's in the word English. Okay. Then we have the sound I told you about, which is pronounced between the vocal cords and the glottis. We have it in horse, ho, hopper, but it's silent in hour. And that's why you cannot say a honor. You say it's an honor because that the consonant is not sounded. So you say, it's an honor to be invited to this wonderful program. I saw him an hour ago, an hour, not a hour ago, because the letter, the reason for that is that the letter H is not realized as so it's a consonant sound. Okay, and you only use an when you have the first letter of the word you are using with. When you have the first letter to be a vowel sound, you can say an orange because of sound, or it's a vowel sound. You can say, give me an example at your hand. Okay, I think I can hear someone trying to give an example. You can say an empty stomach, an empty stomach, an empty tank. Empty, there is a vowel number three. We'll talk about that in the next class. So you can say an. You cannot say a empty tank. You can't say that. You can't say a orange. You can't say that. So you only use an when when the word you're using it with begins with a vowel sound. So on this note, I can say that we have come to the end of the first part of this session. In the next class, I will talk about the vowel sounds and some other things you need to know about English phonology. I hope that I've been able to impact, uh, I hope I've been able to pass across very important lessons to you, and I've been able to expose you to all you need to know with regard to the consonant sounds. And I hope that your spoken English will be better now. Every time I come across you and we have to interact, you'll be speaking better English. Thank you very much for listening to me. God bless you. I hope to see you in the next class. It's bye for now.